Good morning, Fairfax County. It's really hot outside, but we have some cool news for you. We have a primary tomorrow in Fairfax County in Virginia and are hoping that you get the information you need so you can vote tomorrow. Wanted to start off with, hi, I'm Lisa Connors from the Office of Public Affairs, and I'm here with our General Registrar, Cameron Sasnett.
Hi, Facebook.
And we'd like to tell you, first of all, we had very busy absentee voting, especially on Friday and Saturday. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Saturday was the last day for in-person absentee voting, but also a reminder, folks, if you have a mail-in ballot, you have until 7 p.m. tomorrow for it to get to the Office of Elections, correct?
Yeah, so if you asked for a ballot to be mailed to you, you got it at home, and you're thinking about putting it in the post office, I'm telling you, don't do that. Bring it here to my office, deliver it in person. We have a drop box in my office here at the Government Center on the 3rd floor. You can even use the drop boxes where the taxes go, and we'll check those at 7 p.m. So there's a little bit of convenience. But please don't take it to your polling place. You've got to bring it here so that we can make sure that we get counted on election night. It has to be here by 7 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay, great. And that's also a good reminder, because there's always been a little bit of confusion. We do count our absentee ballots on election night. So those are included in our unofficial election results. So it's not, we don't wait until next week or whenever. They are counted on election night. So it's important for you to get your ballot in.
So we will start immediately right at 7 p.m. All the ballots that have been received, we'll start counting those. Now, I know a lot of folks typically say it takes a while for Fairfax County to report its results, but that's because we have so many absentee voters, and even though we started at 7, it takes us a little while to get them counted. So as the polling places start getting their results in about 7:30, 8 o'clock, we're still counting all those ballots. So you're right, it is a myth, but it is true. That's why it usually takes us a little bit longer to report, because we have so many absentee ballots. But we make sure that we count every one of them and report it when we're done with the counting.
Great. And also, because we also have 243 precincts reporting too. So very busy here on election night at the Government Center. Going back to absentee voting, we had some great numbers. We had so the latest total that I have is total of 6,353, 6,353. For the Democratic primary, 4,575. And for GOP, 1,778. And you had just told me some interesting information about one of the primaries.
Yeah, so for the Democratic primary, because there is 2 primaries, we're actually seeing just as much absentee traffic as we did in the presidential Democratic primary last year. So just as many people have already voted absentee as they did in 2016 in March. So we're expecting a good turnout on election day. We're starting to make some preparations just to make sure that we have everything in place for every voter to make sure that they can get in and out as quick as possible.
Okay.
But it's very encouraging to see people participating. I know it's the first election after last November's election, so we're prepared. We're excited. We always get excited in the office when we see much more participation. So
Awesome. So election tomorrow, polls open
6 a.m. bright and early. The polls will open at 6. It's okay to be in line by 6. We'll get you through as quick as possible. So if you got to get to work, try and get there as early as possible. We're not giving away Sony PlayStations, but it is definitely worth it to get through as quick as possible. Most of our polling places are inside of schools, so that it presents a challenge, especially for people who might not be working during the day. And so we want them to try and vote as early as possible as well.
Right. Yeah. Actually, if you are voting at one of the school locations, there's 167 school locations that are used as polls. Please try to, we encourage you to not come during when the school buses are doing their drop-off and pick-up. Anyone who's been around one of our schools knows it's a very busy time and gets a little tricky. And there's students everywhere, so if you can, try to avoid during those hours. And polls are open 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. What else do we need to know?
So as long as you're in line by 7 p.m., you will get a chance to vote. If you run into the door and it's already 7 to 1, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to let you in. But what is really important to know is tomorrow when you go to vote, make sure you bring an acceptable photo ID with you.
Right.
That is one of the most important things. That we've been doing it for a couple years, so I think our voters are starting to really get used to it. Driver's license is completely acceptable as long as it's from Virginia. We can also use a student ID from a school inside of Virginia. You can use your employer ID, your United States passport. There's a whole list, and if you go on fairfaxcounty.gov/elections, you'll be able to find the entire list of acceptable photo IDs.
Okay, great. That's a good reminder. And also, when you come to vote, make sure, or actually before you come to vote, please check your poll location.
Yep.
Even if you voted in November, it's always a good idea to check your poll location so that we're not having to divert you to go to a different poll
Right.
location. We want this to be as efficient and easy for all of our voters as possible.
Right. So that's a very good reminder. With 243 polling places, you want to make sure you show up at the right one.
Right.
And even if you see just a vote here sign and you're going down the street, you need to make sure that you're at the one that you're supposed to vote in, because you can't vote at just any polling place that you pull up to. It has to be the one that you're registered in.
Okay, great. So for any information, we have checklists, we have all sorts of information on our on the website fairfaxcounty.gov/elections. And also, actually, just remembered that we had some exciting news. We talked about it last time we spoke too. Is that we now have ballots and information in four languages, and we're the only jurisdiction that's mandated to have that. So can you talk a little bit about that also?
Yeah, so at the end of last year, right after the November election, the United States Census determined that we had enough people inside Fairfax County who their primary language is Vietnamese. So we became covered for Vietnamese language. We'd already been covered for providing voting materials in Spanish. And the Electoral Board, when we looked at all the information, we said that the Korean was so close that we felt it was the best decision to put it all together. So when you go to your polling place on Election Day, we'll have information and ballots and forms available in 4 different languages: English, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Korean. And we're really excited about that.
Absolutely.
As you mentioned, we're the only one in Virginia that has that requirement, and we even went above that requirement because we wanted to make sure that we provide the best opportunity for all of our voters.
That really speaks well to the diversity of our county. So you have a wonderful opportunity to come out and use your voice tomorrow, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Again, if you need additional information or have questions, or you want to even call the Office of Elections, all that information is at fairfaxcounty.gov/elections. Thank you so much. We'll be reporting back to you tomorrow. We might talk some turnout numbers or some additional information that comes up, so stay tuned. And And also a friendly reminder that it's going to be hotter tomorrow, but our poll locations are air conditioned. So
well, we hope the air conditioning's on and all. Right. Just one last thing before we go. This is always kind of tricky when we have dual party primaries.
Right.
So when you show up on Election Day, inside your polling location, even though we don't register by party, you're going to have to let the officers of election know which party you want to participate in. So they're going to ask you if you want a Republican ballot or a Democratic ballot. And it's simply just so that we know which ballot to give you. So it doesn't mean that you're going to be registered or affiliated by that party, but you will have to let them know inside the polling place. That's always seems to catch people off guard in our dual party primaries because we don't ask in general elections. Right,
exactly. So you wouldn't have been asked that question in November, but you will be asked that question for this primary.
So aside from that, we're really excited. We've got everything moving. There's a lot of activity here at the Office of Elections, getting things out and prepared, and we're looking forward to making sure that tomorrow is a really successful day. And we thank you guys for being part of such a great day and being part of the great turnout that's going to be tomorrow. So thank you so much, Fairfax and Facebook, and we look forward to a really successful Election Day.
Right. Go out and vote. Thank you.